But that's where I'm at right now. Every time I leave out, I just left out last Sunday night. I was home two and a half weeks, and I left out last Sunday night. Took a show from Springfield, Illinois down to Memphis. And so that's what started. Generally when I'm out, I stay out 2-3 weeks at a time. But it's just getting to where I'm just tired of this job.
It is. It
just, and then, you know, we get back on the e-log situation, and it's like, you know, I really don't know if I'm going to be going much longer. My biggest motivator right now is because I have 3 trucks.
Are they all on the road?
No. I don't run drivers. I've just got backup trucks.
I see.
My 98 Kenworth is the one that we just come out of. I sold the bunk and the generator off of it. Now it's just a 300-inch day cab, and I don't know what. I mean, I'm thinking about shortening it, maybe buying a dump trailer and just trying to stay around home a little closer with it. Then I have a 2000 Freightliner that I bought from a friend of mine that died. He used to park at my place, and he died of a heart attack. His daughter couldn't get anybody that wanted it for any price. I knew the truck, and I knew it would be a money maker. It's a Detroit, and it's this same body style, so it has a little bit of aerodynamics. So I started running it. It's the one I ran all last summer. Now I'm hanging on to it simply because the engine and transmission in that truck will go in this one if I keep running. But I'm thinking stronger and stronger that I'd rather just come off the road.
You know, I was sick and tired of this job for a long time, but as I grew in the faith, it sustains me. It drives me. It keeps me going.
Well,
I don't know if I could do this job anymore without without the grace of God. It just.
But my problem is, and part of it is because of the job, because I don't get home on a regular. This job is one of those erratic. You might see home every week for a little while.
And then, yeah,
and then there's times when, especially when she's on the truck, when we do more of the entertainment work, we might be gone for a month and a half. When we have the chance, we'll find a church to attend out on the road, or
I've done that a couple of times.
We'll do the truck stop chapels, but
yeah, some of those guys are not.
You know, I don't really know how to explain it.
Sometimes those guys are not credible, but just.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Sometimes we're just not real happy after we've taken in a service. But then again, you know, we ask ourselves, well, it was still better than nothing. If we learned anything at all, you know, we still got a little more teaching. So.
Well, the beauty of the internet now is you can access, you know, a lot of pastors online. Yes. Watch them on YouTube, and
yeah,
there's so many apps out there that you could just run it. And have you ever thought about putting a motorcycle in your truck? I mean, you've seen those.
I've carried them before.
Really?
When I was in the moving business, I always carried a bike with me. But
I've seen one on YouTube where he has a ramp. Come out of the.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that still do it. It's just that it makes you longer. You've got to have. Basically, you need 4 foot of space to carry. Well, maybe that was one of the smaller ones. I've got a dresser, or it'd be like your gold weight. So you need about 4 feet of length. And I can't. That's why I got rid of my other truck. My other truck's painted. I've got a custom Harley. Well, it's not really a custom Harley, but it's a what they call a Screaming Eagle version. Here we go.
Ah, that's nice. That's sharp looking.
That
got a nice match to it too. The color.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the factory Screaming Eagle.
So you designed the truck?
Well, the truck was an ex-Reliable Carriers truck out of Michigan, the Carlin Company. It was all orange, and just Okay, there's the truck when I first bought it. It was all orange with purple fenders. I told my son, and at that time my son-in-law was doing street rod work in our shop, so before I started running it, he just painted the fenders black with flames.
To match the motorcycle.
Well, it was just an intermediate thing until we could figure out how to, I wanted that concept of going from black to orange, just couldn't decide how to make the transition. So this was just what we ended up with. I didn't want to repaint the whole truck because the orange was in too good a shape. So I just added that to it. So he painted the fenders black and put some flames on it, and then later we painted the rest of the black and did the eagle.
Came out really good.
Yeah. But anyhow, see, that bunk was 3 foot longer than this one. Nah, about 2.5 foot. So this bunk or that bunk, either one, in order to carry a bike on it, you'd need 4 foot of space.
Yeah.
I did it back in the days when I was in the moving business and I was running a cab over.
There you go.
And I had a plate right behind the sleeper, and I put it wasn't an enclosed box, but it was still better than nothing.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
So do you wanna take that offer or what?
It sounds good. I'm trying to get a hold of my buddy. He lives down in Dousman. Since you ride, you might be aware. He's an outlaw. That's an outlaw club down there.
Where's that about? West Bend, maybe, or?
No, it's just west of Milwaukee, outside of town, and then just south.
Is it on 94?
Just south of 94.
Okay.
Well, he used to be with Mayflower. He had a couple of trucks with the Mayflower agent there in Milwaukee. That's where I first met him. He and I were with Mayflower back in the early 80s. And even though we didn't have all these electronics and everything, it might have helped him. He got into an accident. At that time, he was living up in Stevens Point. And he was running electronics. And I was with him out in Seattle, just outside of Seattle. And then he started making pics and coming across. He made the determination that he had a day that he could swing up through home before he kept on going, because he had to be down in Chicago on a Monday morning to make some pics and then keep on going east. Somewhere up, what is that, 51? Yeah, it's 51.
Yeah, 51.
That goes up there. He was on his way in Saturday night. Long story short, he hit a car that was on the shoulder and killed 2 people.
Oh.
What happened, they found out afterwards that it was a couple coming home from a night of drinking, and they had stopped there to switch because he didn't have a license, she did. They had stopped and switched, and he was on his way up through there. The driver's door was open. They were inside the car. They never, last I talked to him, and I haven't talked about it for a long time with him. They were inside the car, but the door was open, and he caught the door because he was in his lane, and he caught the door, and somehow both of them got killed. He heard the commotion and pulled off at the next exit where there was a little truck stop. He thought he blew a tire, but he had been running so hard he wasn't completely alert.
Yeah.
As soon as he saw the damage on the right front corner, he knew something had happened, and he was going across the overpass to go back south when the police caught up to him. He was turning around. He knew something had happened, but he wasn't sure what.
Did they charge him for leaving the scene of accident? Oh, really?
He lost his license. It could have been worse. He never served any time. Because somewhere they did, what's the word for it? They did accept his explanation that when he discovered the damage, he knew something had happened.
Okay.
Still, he didn't pull their whatever was it. Well, when you heard the noise in that, why didn't you just pull off on the shoulder? And that's when he told him. He goes,
He didn't know it was.
I wasn't fully alert. He goes, You know, at some point, you know, because the first thing they do is they go back and get all records and that. And they found, you know, they determined that for the last week and a half, he had been averaging 60-some mile an hour for every hour. Or I forget how they, you know, that was what they got him on. They didn't actually get him for manslaughter. It was more, what do they call it? Any
accidental death or something, or
involuntary manslaughter.
Involuntary, yeah.
But anyhow, he lost his license for a year. And he says that's the best thing that ever happened to him, as far as that forced him off the road. Because at that time his kids were both little. He moved from Stevens Point, went down, I can't think of the name of the tank company. There was a tank company outside of Milwaukee somewhere that he went to work for as a mechanic. Because he's always been a good mechanic. Well, anyhow, now he has a bike shop there in Dowsman. His bike shop is also the Outlaws Club, because he's been a patch holder for them. Well, it wasn't actually the Outlaws, it was some other club that is up here, and then the Outlaws took him in. But he's one of these guys that would do anything for you under the sun. He used to rebuild guys' engines. This is back in the mechanical days. He's a Cummins mechanic. He used to do an in-frame on guys' trucks in the parking lot. You know, because back then trucks weren't as complicated, where you could drop the pan and roll the bearings in and put the cylinder kits in from the top.
Yeah. I've got a friend like that. In fact, he's parked over there at Hardee's right now.
Oh, okay. And so I don't get up here in Wisconsin all that much anymore.
Well, I'll check back with you later, a couple hours, maybe.
Okay.
Change your mind, or maybe
Okay,
we
yeah,
could
we
go to
might-
my house and do some barbecue or something.
Okay.
I'm Johnny.
Johnny, David.
David.
You say you're waiting